Let's go to the next story, and that's Lamar Jackson. He's got multiple MVP awards. We know, still yet to make a Super Bowl. He's looking good this year, but the excuses has been that he has not had enough weapons. Well, they got Derrick Henry in the offseason. They just added Deontay Johnson. And the show before us, the facility, Emmanuel Acho believes Lamar is out of excuses.
A unanimous MVP, we're going to give you another running back, Derrick Henry. In addition to the running back, you got Rashad Bateman. We drafted him in the first round. Zay Flowers, we drafted him in the first round. Mark Andrews, a third-round pick some years back. Isaiah Likely, an elite tight end. And then we're going to acquire Deontay Johnson, who was a former 1,000-yard receiver. Lamar's been out of excuses for me. I mean, y'all realize about 5 teams a decade when they win the Super Bowl, so 50% of the time, it's because they have top-flight defenses. Lamar last year had a #1 defense. His excuses were done then.
Yeah, I mean, I still contend if you win 77% of your starts, I'm going to wait on the Super Bowl. If Lamar gives me one in his career, I'll be good with it. I mean, he's already closer to the Hall of Fame than being out of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's hard. I think Peyton Manning took a long time. To win a Super Bowl takes a lot of things. Coach, the right defense. I mean, think how great Matt Stafford is. If Aaron Donald doesn't come through and get Joe Burrow on that play, Matt Stafford, as good, as talented as anybody not named Mahomes and Brady in the last 10 years, and maybe Aaron in his prime, doesn't have a Super Bowl. Like, it's hard. So Super Bowls, to me, I do think they need more pelts. They need more playoff wins. Super Bowls, everything has to work. Yeah. Spags, Reed, Mahomes, Kelsey, Jones, like A+. And they've had to come from behind with everything working. New England never scored a touchdown in the first quarter of a Super Bowl. Lost 2 on a singular play to Mario Manningham or a David Tyree. It's like winning a Super Bowl. San Francisco's done virtually everything right except get a superstar quarterback. They can't. They're struggling to get to Super Bowls.
So, you know, I've used the James Harden analogy before. Just great regular season player, but it's easier to defend.
Yeah, but
Lamar.
I think Lamar is a different human being. I think his work ethic, his passion. Harden has never felt like the soul of anything. I think Lamar Jackson feels like the soul of the of the city.
So let me ask, you mentioned Matt Stafford. So what is Stafford's career if he doesn't go to partner with McVay and
well, if
become
he
a
gets
Super Bowl
if he
champ?
gets this Detroit group behind him and starts winning games, I think it's
No, but he was in Detroit forever, and I don't think he ever won a playoff game. He was a really talented quarterback.
Yeah.
But, like, if you don't have the pieces around you,
But the
right
difference
coaching,
is Lamar's teams have been great in the regular season. Stafford's teams were okay
they were
in
never
the
great.
regular.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
mean, Lamar is literally, if you took out one player in the league, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar's been the best player in the league for the last 7 years. If you take out Mahomes,
I think that might be a stretch.
I mean, MVP. He's going to win his 3rd MVP. He's been the most dominant player in the sport. It's like people bag on the Dodgers for years. They don't win a World Series. Excellence. You don't have to be the #1 realtor in Los Angeles to be redeemable. You may not win that top realtor, but it's like this idea that championships define you. Lamar is the best football player on the planet. If Mahomes would have chosen baseball, Lamar Jackson's the best football player in the world for the last 5 years.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Are we sure he's better than Josh Allen?
Well, again, the argument both ways. One guy's got more MVPs. One guy had, one guy's got the hardware. It's close. I think Allen, same argument. It's like Mickelson and Tiger Woods. If Tiger chooses baseball and not golf, Phil Mickelson's got 4 more majors and 9 more tournaments.
I would need to look at Allen's postseason numbers, but Lamar's have been bad, Colin. 2-4 record. Even if you say records are not a quarterback stat, fine. 57% completions in 6 playoff games. It is a small sample size. 6 touchdowns, 6 picks. Yeah. Like, that's just not getting it done. Final story is...
Okay. I know Lamar Jackson fans and Baltimore Ravens fans are seething at this. They are not happy about this. The whole idea, what Emmanuel Acho is saying, Lamar's out of excuses. He was out of excuses last year, blah, 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 is really infuriating because I've said this so many times now, and I really don't want to just kind of rehash a similar rant that I've already made. But Lamar Jackson right now, the biggest excuse that he has is coaching. Any unbiased person watching that Chiefs game last year will know that coaching, that the game plan was awful. I mean, Colin was just like, was speechless. I remember that next day, that Monday. And so was I, because the whole time I was watching that game, I was like, what am I watching? right now. They're leaving Lamar Jackson out there on an island to do nothing. And like I keep saying, it's not to say that Lamar Jackson played perfectly and there was moments that he could have been better, but it was an awful, awful, awful game plan. What Colin is saying, he's saying if Patrick Mahomes chose a different, if he played baseball instead of football, Lamar Jackson would be the best quarterback on the planet. Yes and no. If Patrick Mahomes just got drafted by the Bears, by the Bills, by the Panthers, by any of these other teams, the Texans, whoever, Lamar Jackson would be the greatest football player. He'd have multiple Super Bowls. Like coaching, I don't understand why people fail. I mean, I do, but it still just drives me crazy. The people's failure to understand how important coaching is. Something like 80% of all Super Bowls are won by Hall of Fame coaches. It just matters. And I've already pointed this out on so many different videos, but it's worth repeating that Patrick Mahomes just this season alone is at the bottom of the NFL in average depth of target. He's throwing the shortest passes. It's like around 5 yards. And yet he's at top 3 in yards after catch. That is the genius of Andy Reid. Andy Reid is scheming guys open, setting Patrick Mahomes up for short, easy passes, and then big gains afterwards. And again, it's out of utility because he doesn't have the pieces. He doesn't have, with a lot of injuries. That is the genius and the brilliance of Andy Reid, that he can consistently do this. And those things matter. So you give someone as great as Lamar Jackson a truly great coach, Lamar Jackson would be even better. Even better. But there's still way too many times that Lamar Jackson is left out on this island and you start scratching your head and you're like, what is going on here? What is the game plan? What do they want Lamar to do here right now? And that is frustrating. And again, Lamar does deserve some blame. Some blame. But the amount of confidence, he's out of excuses, and he was out of excuses last year. Well, right now he doesn't have a great defense at all. His defense is being gashed. Okay? You got Jameis Winston looking like Patrick Mahomes out there. That's on Lamar Jackson. He's supposed to just be able to constantly overcome that. Would Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl last year if he didn't have the top defense in the NFL? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Would Patrick Mahomes been undefeated this year if they didn't have the best defense in the NFL right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Would this team be undefeated if Andy Reid wasn't the head coach? If Nick Sirianni was the head coach for the Chiefs, would they have won last year and this year? Or be undefeated this year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If Harbaugh was the coach, would they? Would this team be able to stick together like this? If Harbaugh was the head coach? No, I do not believe that. I don't believe that for a second. So we love to put all of this on a singular player, and it's just not the case. This lack of understanding how important and crucial coaching is, I do find it shocking, and I think I realize it's because so many people, especially just regular fans, especially fans who maybe haven't played sports at a high level, they've just never really been around true coaches and the importance of it. Not to mention, especially fans, they still see themselves through the eyes of the player. So they envision, I could be on the field, I could play, right? They're playing Madden, doing whatever, fantasy. They see themselves as the players. They're watching a game, and a lot of times you're like, oh man, it would be so cool if I could jump that high and dive and do all that. And it's I'm at the point in my life where I'm looking at it through a different lens. I'm looking at it through more of a coaching lens. More than anything, a game plan lens, play calling lens. And it's that is the appropriate lens. We have endless examples of how important coaching is. It's just the list is too long to just kind of keep going through it. Just look no further right now than just this year and look at Sam Darnold with Kevin O'Connell. And it's not to say that Lamar Jackson has been in this disaster, because then the argument is always, well, hey, he's been great during the regular season. Then what happens? Playoffs. And some of that is on just Lamar Jackson's youth. Some of that is just a team around him. Some of that is just absolute bizarre coaching. Right? There's just no way around it. Just bizarre coaching. And I think this year, if the Baltimore Ravens are unable to come away with a Super Bowl, they absolutely need to clean house with coaching. Absolutely. There would really be no doubt in my mind at this point. Because Lamar Jackson clearly has the tool set. He clearly has there. And even if you want to make the argument that there's certain game management aspects that he is not as good at, like a Patrick Mahomes, and that's why Patrick Mahomes is able to win and Lamar isn't. Well, what a great coach will do will be able to actually help Lamar develop that or minimize it in the situations where Lamar is asked to do that, where it's up to him, right? It'll be simplified in that way. Like Greg Cosell talks about how important it is for a coordinator, for any offensive head coach, to simplify things for his quarterback, no matter who you are. And that is what Andy Reid consistently does for Patrick Mahomes. Consistently does. Has done so from day one. They do not consistently do that for Lamar Jackson at all. And how many times have we seen Harbaugh's face during a key moment in the game, and you just look at it, and he just looks like he has no idea what's going on? And I don't mean to rip him, because I don't think he's like this bad coach, but I've just seen him just kind of look just stupefied in those moments just way too many times now at this point throughout the years. And it's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is going on right now? So, but yeah, those are just my thoughts, though. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Lamar Jackson and what Acho's saying? He's out of excuses, and I guess Deontay Johnson is I guess Tyreek Hill, right, or CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson. So there's just zero excuses. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.